And hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Hughes on hand for Stephen's All Out Baseball Show here on July 13th, 12 o'clock on the West Coast, 3 o'clock on the East Coast. And we are going to get started. The big headlines today, we're going to start off with two Yankees players, Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, will start off today. And then we're going to Yasiel Puig's injury. And then the Upton brothers, they're injured and how long that will be. As we're going to start up Stephen's All Out Baseball Show here on the national sports radio station here on Spreaker.com.
È strano se sfiorandomi riemergerai dal buio. Riposa un po', mia cara Belle, il tuo regno sai non brilla più.
Like I said, guys, welcome to Steven's All Out Baseball Show here on the national sports radio station. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and follow us here on Spreaker.com as we are about to get set. I haven't done a Steven's All Baseball Show edition in a little while, so I'm going to be back on this as the coming days come very soon. Let's start with the breaking news that came yesterday from two Yankees players. We'll start off first with Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter was waiting 91 games to finally play for the Yankees this season. He got the opportunity on Thursday, but it just took him one game to land him back on the shelf. He has a grade 1 strain of his right quad strap. He'll be missing the team's final 3 games before the All-Star break, and he'll be reevaluated after that. That is what GM for the Yankees, Brian Cashman, said in a news conference yesterday before the Yankees game against the Minnesota Twins. Jeter suffered the injury during Thursday's win over the Royals. He was activated prior to the game after missing the season up till now, recovering from a broken ankle. He was supposed to be called up yesterday to give him more time to rest the ankle, but Travis Hafner on Wednesday fouled the ball off his foot that caused the Yankees to pretty much having to call out Jeter to be the DH for Thursday's game, and it turns out to be from a good thing to even worse, having another injury. And some people are saying with the injuries that Derek Jeter now is getting, he's getting a little bit older now. He's not the old Derek Jeter. Is Jeter an everyday shortstop now? And that's pretty much the question I'll give you guys out there. You guys can put on the chat box. What's your opinion? Is Jeter everyday shortstop right now? Should he be at the DA? Should he be sitting out a few games then there? State your opinions on the chat box and ask any questions and such that I can answer throughout the show. So he had to run hard to be an infield single in the first inning, as well as on ground outs in the second and fifth, and said his quad tightened up during his third at bat. Jeter said this is what Jeter had to say on Friday from the team. Quote, "It's frustrating. I don't know what else you want me to say. I worked hard to get to the point of rejoining the team yesterday. It's not how you draw it up, but hopefully I'll be back out there soon and help this team win some games." End quote. Jeter played 4 games with AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre earlier in the week without incident, going 1 for 9 though with 4 walks and playing 17 innings of shortstop. He also had 2 errors, so not the best thing. Also, another injury that made Cashman call Jeter up one day early was Brett Garner's injury, along with Travis Hafner's back on Wednesday. So that's a question giving you guys out. Is Jeter everyday shortstop? You guys can state your opinions in the chat box, and throughout the show I can express your opinions on the show. This is going to be a half an hour show, short show, so I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Report says out of Tampa Bay, Florida, that Alex Rodriguez has met with Major League Baseball, which was yesterday, probing the distribution of banned performance substances from the biogenesis clinic. The meeting took place before the Yankees' third baseman's latest injury rehab game in the minor leagues was rained out. MLB investigators are probing the closed anti-aging clinic Biogenesis. Rodriguez said he used PEDs while with Texas from 2001 to 2003, but has denied using them since. He was linked to Biogenesis in a report in January by the Miami News Times. His agent, Scott Boras, he's kind of mad at the fact that players have been released. The players' names have been released from the report in January by Biogenesis, saying that it's a violation of the new CBA that Major League Baseball established a year and a half ago. And Boris thinks that Major League Baseball has really poorly gone through this, and since this leaked, then everybody knows, when's Alex Rodriguez getting questioned about, when's Ryan Braun getting questioned, how did Ryan Braun respond to that? And it's kind of building up, and I think I agree with what Scarborough says, that it's a violation, and I feel like if none of the names were released, it was just a vague 23 players were connected with Biogenesis, that's a whole different story. Then we don't know who it is. It can be Chris Davis of the Orioles. It can be anyone, or it can be Joe Blow in the bench for the Astros. So, if Boris made a great statement on that. So, a team official said the Yankees are evaluating whether Rodriguez will stay in Tampa Bay this weekend, where the forecast calls for additional rain, or be moved to another minor league team. On Friday, the grounds crew put the tarp on the field around 6:20. 40 minutes before the game started, and just before heavy rainfall left big puddles on the warning track in parts of the outfield. So, A-Rod's supposed to play, didn't get able to play. Well, a lot of fun to talk for a couple hours with Major League Baseball officials. So, the controversy continues around Alex Rodriguez and the Yankees organization. Let's go to Yasiel Puig, and a lot of Dodgers fans won't really like this. The rookie sensation Yasiel Puig left the Dodgers game against the Colorado Rockies on Friday after 4 innings due to precautionary reasons stemming from a left hip injury suffered last week. Puig started in right field and was hitless in 2 at-bats. He was replaced by Scott Van Slyke in the top of the 5th. Puig's left hip has bothered him since he ran into the wall making a catch at Colorado on July 3rd. He also had to leave Thursday's game early because of the injury. Dodgers manager Don Mattingly called Puig day-to-day, saying the injury was no worse than it was after Thursday's game. Puig took batting practice before Friday's game and told the Dodgers he could play. So obviously, in my opinion, since the All-Star game is coming up very shortly, the All-Star break, I should say, and he's not even playing the All-Star game. He's not selected in the NL All-Star final vote. It was Freddie Freeman and the Braves who got the nod. I feel like Puig should be sat out until the second half of the season starts. It would be a good idea for the Dodgers to do so, especially the fact that if this is for precautionary reasons, why are you playing the last 2 games? You should just set the last 2, and then you have an extra 3 days or 3 or 4 days to rest it and play a better baseball off it. So that's why I'm just saying. I feel like Puig, if he does try to play, then it's probably going to be the injury's probably going to get worse, because if he's already leaving Thursday and then leaving Friday, then just sit it out, Puig. You're not trying to impress anyone if you're trying to hurt yourself. So let's go to commercial break, or let's go to a nice song break, since Spreaker.com does not give us the audio commercial breaks anymore. When we come back, we have B.J. Upton and Justin Upton, both injured, along with Jason Hayward from last night's game against the Reds. But one player didn't even play against the Reds last night. I'll give you that. And the Red Sox trying to beef up their bullpen by acquiring who, I'll give you a hint, is a nice left-hander from Chicago, the White Sox. And also, and for the break, the Astros signed to a 4-year extension who, it might be their best player, but You can find out more when we come back to Steelers All Baseball Show here on the National Sports Radio Station in affiliation with Spreaker.com.
Strano se la novità si prenderà il gioco di noi, riempie già gli spazi tuoi con spazi di vertigine. Non era semplice stringere aria e vento, com'era semplice spegnerli e poi salvare te, com'era semplice.
Welcome everybody back to Seniors All Out Baseball Show. If you weren't here for the beginning of the show, I have the question of the show. You guys can state your opinions or ask any other questions for me. Stephen Hughes on the chat box on the bottom right of your screen. The question of the show is Derek Jeter, the Yankees shortstop, a everyday shortstop now? Is Derek Jeter an everyday shortstop right now? And you guys can leave your opinions in the chat box in the bottom right hand of the screen. So let's go to a couple of actually 3 injuries on hand for the Braves. Unfortunately, it involves their entire outfield. Jason Hayward got hurt on Thursday night and did not play on Friday, so that was the surprise play. They did not play on Friday. And both B.J. Upton and Justin Upton left the Braves Friday game against the Reds with injuries, making a clean sweep of the Atlanta outfield in 2 days. So that was really good for Atlanta, as I'm very sarcastic about that. B.J. Upton strained a muscle in his right leg when he charged Todd Frazier's run-scoring triple in the first inning. Upton missed the ball as his right knee dug into the grass in center field. The ball skipped off his glove and hit his left knee. B.J. Upton appeared to favor his right side as he walked slowly off the field, accompanied by assistant trainer Jim Lovell. Rookie Joey Todoslavich entered the game for B.J. For Justin Upton, though, he strained his left calf while running to first base in the 7th. Tyler Pastornicki replaced the younger Upton in the outfield. The Braves said Justin Upton would be reevaluated on Saturday. Jason Hayward, though, may miss the final 2 games of the series, but said Friday he hopes to avoid the DL. Fellow outfielder Jordan Schaefer is already on the DL with a right ankle injury. The Braves announced Friday that that MRI revealed a stress fracture in Schaefer's ankle that will be adding 3 to 4 weeks to his expected recovery period. Evan Gattis, a natural catcher who has made 11 starts in left field, and he's the surprise, in my opinion, with the story that he has had coming from a janitor to starting catcher for Major League Baseball, Atlanta Braves. Gattis is also on the disabled list with a right oblique injury. He's been on the DL for 2-3 weeks, so the Braves will be really needing to get him ASAP. Let's go to Boston, a big pickup as the Red Sox have acquired left-handed pitcher Matt Thornton from the White Sox on Friday in exchange for minor league outfielder Brandon Jacobs. Thornton provides a Boston bullpen lacking depth with a formidable left-handed option. The trade comes 6 days after losing left-handed reliever Andrew Miller to season-ending foot surgery. The addition will provide manager John Farrell a second southpaw behind Craig Breslow. Left-handed hitters are batting 173 against Thornton this season compared to 320 against right-handers. though there's been less of a differential in the past over his 10-year career, with lefties batting .229 and righties batting .238. This is what GM Ben Cherington said about the acquisition. Quote, "It is down a little bit from the past, but he's still getting lefties out. It used to be elite stuff. It may just be really good stuff now. We're confident he has plenty of stuff to be effective in the role we need him to be in and be an important part of the bullpen. He just needs to come in and be who he is." End quote. Boston also acquired cash considerations in the deal and transferred Miller to the 60-day DL to make room for Thornton, a 2010 AL All-Star, on the 40-man roster. Cherington also had this to say, quote, "We are what we are, and we have some attrition in that area. When Andrew Miller went down, it probably increased our level of urgency. We found a fit. We think it makes sense. There was some motivation to do it prior to the break, because after the break, we get back into AL East play. Stabilizing and fortifying the pen made sense." End quote. Thornton's stats for the year: the 36-year-old is 0-3 with a 3.86 ERA and 40 appearances this year with the Chicago White Sox. The veteran has recorded 18 holes this season, which is tied for fourth most among all American League relievers. Farrell said Thornton will be used mostly in the 6th and 7th inning situations, similar to his role with the White Sox, who were rained out Friday in Philadelphia. Thornton is expected to be available in the Red Sox uni in time for Saturday night's game against the A's in Oakland. For Brandon Jacobs, the player exchanged in this trade was a 10th round selection by the Red Sox in the 2009 first-year player draft. He started the year with the Class A Salem and was promoted to Double-A Portland in June. A 23-year-old who is ranked in the organization's number 11 prospect, combined to hit .246 in 83 games between the two clubs, with 24 doubles, 1 triple, 11 home runs, 44 RBIs, 3 walks, and 90 strikeouts. So, this is a strikeout guy, but he still has some power. Thornton's owed close to $3 million for the remainder of the season, with the Red Sox holding a $6 million option for next season with a $1 million buyout. The cash considerations could be used to pay a portion of his remaining salary. In another, it's not an acquisition, but it's an extension from the Astros is second baseman Jose Altuve. The second baseman is first significant contract commitment for GM Jeff Luhnow. With the Astros further passing the torch to a new generation of young players by watching Jared Kozar throw 8 scoreless innings in his MLB debut on Friday night, the team is now showing a willingness to spend money. The Astros have agreed to a 4-year contract extension with popular second baseman Jose Altuve. The extension begins in 2014 and runs through the 2017 season, and he does have a club option for 2018 and 2019. Additional terms of the deal were not disclosed. This is what Jeff Luhnow said, the GM. He said, quote, "Jose has quickly become the face of the franchise in less than 2 years, and we are excited to keep him here for many years to come. He provides leadership both on and off the field and has become a big part of the Houston sports community." End quote. Luhnow spent most of his first year on the job trading away players who were in the midst of multi-year contracts in exchange for prospects, as the Astros went full bore in their plan to rebuild through the draft and player development. The Astros opened this year with a payroll of about $22 million, with Bud Norris, who's being paid $3 million, as their highest paid player. Altuve, at the age of 23, was promoted from Double-A Corpus Christi in 2011 after the Astros traded Jeff Keminger and was to the Giants and was plugged into the starting lineup. He batted .284 with 3 home runs, 28 RBIs in 85 games as a rookie before a breakout 2012 when he had .290, 7 home runs, 37 RBIs, and 33 steals en route to an All-Star game selection. This is what Altuve said about the extension, quote, "I'm really happy to be a part of the Houston Astros organization. I just want to keep playing hard and help this team win games. I love my teammates and the people of Houston, and I'm going to do everything I can to improve and win baseball games." This season, Altuve is batting .280 with 3 home runs, 28 RBIs, and 21 stolen bases through 86 games this year for the struggling Houston Astros, who just made their transition from the National League Central to the American League West to even out the leagues and to expand in a way as interleague play. So When we come back to Steven's All Baseball Show for our last little portion of the show, I'll give you an update on Jordan Zimmermann, who might be missing the All-Star game. You'll find that out, and then the annual and the show standings lookout to end the show, folks. It's Steven's All Baseball Show here on Spreaker.com in affiliation with the National Sports Radio Station.
Tried to keep us all down and hope that we will never see the truth around. Another promise, another scene, a package like to keep us trapped in greed. A green belts wrapped around our minds, an endless red tape to keep the truth confined.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final part of Steven's All Baseball Show here on the National Sports Radio Station. Like I said in the beginning of the show, like this National Sports Radio Station's page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Spreaker.com, and let's keep the show going. Let's go to some All-Star Game news, as Washington Nationals pitcher Jordan Zimmermann will not pitch in the All-Star Game because of a neck injury. Zimmermann had an X-ray and MRI to determine the severity of the injury, but manager David Johnson does not believe he will need to go on the DL. Johnson was unavailable to reach NL manager Bruce Bochy, the Giants, and let him know about Zimmermann's status. Zimmermann is 12-4 with a 2.58 ERA in 19 starts. It was named to his first All-Star team, and is planning on making the trip to New York. Johnson's plans on talking to Bochy about the possibility of having another Washington pitcher take Zimmermann's spot is Gio Gonzalez, Steven Strasburg, or Rafael Soriano as potential replacements. And before we go to the standings, I really haven't had a show that really covered the All-Star team. It's just the teams are already announced, then, why not? Let's do it now. Let's go to the starters in the American League. At catcher, Joe Mauer of the Twins. At first base, the power-hitting Chris Davis, who has 35th home run of the season just yesterday against the Blue Jays. That is ridiculous. At second base, Robinson Cano, don't you know, from the Yankees. At shortstop is J.J. Hardy of the Orioles. At third base is Miggy Cabrera, the Triple Crown winner from last season of the Tigers. The three outfielders starting is going to be Mike Trout of the Angels, Adam Jones of the Orioles, Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays, and then at DH will be Dave Ortiz of the Sox of the Red Sox. Surprisingly, three Orioles as starters, and I like the one surprise for me from the Orioles is J.J. Hardy at shortstop. I'm really glad he's having a great year. Loved him the days when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers. The pitchers on the AL roster is going to be going like this. Right-handed pitcher Clay Buchholz of the Red Sox. Left-handed pitcher Brett Cecil of the Blue Jays. Right-handed pitcher Bartolo Colon of the A's. Right-handed pitcher Jesse Crane of the Red Sox. Right-handed pitcher Yu Darvish of the Rangers. Actually, I should add on to this list. Buchholz, Crane, Darvish will not be playing due to injury. Will not be participating in the All-Star game due to injury. Steve Delbar, the Blue Jays. Last year he was a substitute teacher. It was last year or 2 years ago he was a substitute teacher. Now he was the winner of the AL final vote for the All-Star game. Then you have right-handed pitchers Felix Hernandez and Hisashi Iwakuma of the Mariners, both representing the Mariners. Right-handed pitcher Justin Masterson of the Indians. Left-handed pitcher Matt Moore of the Rays. Right-handed pitcher Joe Nathan of the Rangers. Left-handed pitcher Glenn Perkins of the Twins. Mariano Rivera, who recorded his 30th save of the year from the Yankees. Left-handed pitcher Chris Sale for the White Sox. And then the two, quote, aces for the Tigers, right-handed pitchers Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, like I said, from the Tigers. And the reserves for the American League is going to be catchers Jason Castro of the Astros and Salvador Perez of the Royals. At first base, you'll have Prince Fielder from the Tigers. Second baseman Jason Kipnis of the Indians, Dustin Pedroia of the Red Sox, and Ben Zobrist of the Rays. At shortstop, you'll have Johnny Peralta of the Tigers, and at third base, you'll have Manny Machado of the Orioles. Speaking of third base in the American League, a big snub, but, if you have Miguel Cabrera, Manny Machado ahead of you, you can't really say anything else. Josh Donaldson batting .313 this year, 13 home runs, 58 RBIs for the A's. Great year he's having. Unfortunately, two other guys were better than him in the voting. The outfield reserves for the American League goes like this. Nelson Cruz of the Rangers, Alex Gordon of the Royals, and Torrey Hunter of the Tigers. Then at DH, Edwin Encarnacion of the Blue Jays. In the National League, your starters at catcher, Yadier Molina of the Cardinals. First base, Joey Votto of the Reds. Second baseman, Brandon Phillips of the Reds. Shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki of the Rockies. At third base, David Wright of the Mets, the hometown team for the All-Star Game, the Mets. Then the outfielders will be Carlos Beltran, Carlos Gonzalez, and Bryce Harper. Beltran, Cardinals, Gonzalez, Rockies, Harper, Nationals. The pitchers for the National League will go like this. Left-handed pitcher, Madison Bumgarner of the Giants. Left-handed pitcher, Aroldis Chapman of the Reds. Left-handed pitcher, Patrick Corbin of the Diamondbacks. Right-handed pitcher, Jose Fernandez of the Marlins. Right-handed pitcher, Jason Greeley of the Pirates. Right-handed pitcher, Matt Harvey for the Mets. Left-handed pitcher, Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers. Right-handed pitcher, Craig Kimbrell of the Braves. Left-handed pitchers, Cliff Lee of the Phillies and Jeff Locke of the Pirates. Right-handed pitcher, Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals. Left-handed pitcher, Travis Wood of the Cubs. And right-handed pitcher, Jordan Zimmerman of the Nationals. He will be replaced. Like I just said, he was injured just recently with a neck injury. In the reserves for the National League, catcher Buster Posey, the reigning National League MVP for the Giants. First baseman Paul Goldschmidt for the Diamondbacks, Alan Craig of the Cardinals, and Freddie Freeman, who won the final vote, from the Braves. Second baseman Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals and Marco Scudero of the Giants. Shortstops Everett Cabrera and Gene Segura of the Brewers. Third baseman Pedro Alvarez of the Pirates. Outfielders Dominic Brown of the Phillies, Michael Kodai of the Rockies, Carlos Gomez of the Brewers, and then outfielder Andrew McCutchen of the Pirates. So I got a couple minutes left with the show. So let's give you a look of the standings in Major League Baseball. In the American League East, the Boston Red Sox have a 4.5 game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays in second place, looking pretty good, but they are only a game ahead of the third place Baltimore Orioles. After that, I'll go the Yankees, and then the Toronto Blue Jays, they're up and down. They had a terrible start to the year, then they rose up to about second or third, then they're back down to last. Toronto 12.5 back of the Sox. In the AL Central, the Detroit Tigers, it seems like always they have a lead in the AL Central, but they're 2.5 ahead of the Cleveland Indians. The Indians 5 games above 500, a 527 winning percentage. Cleveland has 2 games to get the 50 wins that they would love to get before the All-Star game. After that, it goes Kansas City, 43 and 47, 7 games back of the Detroit Tigers, 4.5 back of the Cleveland Indians. And then after that, it goes Minnesota, 13 games back of the Tigers, and then the Chicago White Sox, 36 and 53, 13.5 back of the Tigers. In the American League West, look at those A's. Texas, you lost Josh Hamilton. You're still doing good, but Oakland is still doing better than you. It's a 1-game lead for the A's, but Texas, come on, son. Oakland, 54 and 39. They're going to have a great start They're gonna just be rolling into the second half of the year, in my opinion. It goes Texas 53-40, a game back in second. The Dodgers are 9 games, not the Dodgers, the Angels, the other Los Angeles team. The Angels are 9 games back of the A's. 9 and 8 games back of the Texas Rangers. Come on, son. You have Josh Hamilton now. You got C.J. Wilson now. You have a lot of good players. Why don't you capitalize on it? Then after that goes Seattle 41-52, 13 games back of the A's. And then lastly, my favorite, Houston 33-59, 20 and a half back. And actually Houston, since Miami's actually done pretty good in the last 20 games, Houston is now the worst team in Major League Baseball. Second worst team in Major League Baseball will be in the National League East. I'll get to them very shortly. The Braves, 53-40, with 2 games left until the All-Star break. They're in first place in the NL East. After that goes Washington, 1 game above 500 at 47-46. Their year has been filled with injury, 6 games back of the Braves. After that goes 46-47, 7 games back of Atlanta, 1 game back of Washington. Those are the fighting Phils of Philadelphia. And after that goes the Mets, 11 games back of Atlanta. And then Miami, the second worst team in Major League Baseball, 34-57, 18 games behind the Braves with a 374 winning percentage. In the NL Central, the St. Louis Cardinals just going back and forth from second to first, with Pittsburgh. St. Louis, they are the number 1 team in the league with a 56-35 record. Even though Boston has 2 more wins than them, St. Louis has .004 better of a winning percentage than Boston. After that, it goes Pittsburgh, 1 game back of St. Louis. Cincinnati, 5 games back of St. Louis, 4 games back of Pittsburgh. And then after that, it's pretty much nothing. It's a 3-man race in the Central. After that, it goes Chicago Cubs, 41-50, 15 games back. And then the Milwaukee Brewers really struggling. Braun was out for a month, it seemed like. I think it was a month. They don't really have all their stars. They lost their pitching staff. Milwaukee 37-55, 19.5 back. And then lastly, in the National League West, Dodgers are starting to climb up there. They're at 500 now. They're 46-46, but they're still 2.5 back of Arizona, 5 games above 500, and a decent size lead for the Arizona, which will definitely and officially have the lead in the National League West heading to the All-Star game. After the Dodgers goes Colorado, 2 games back of Los Angeles, 4.5 back of Arizona, 45-49. San Francisco, 42-50, 6.5 back. And San Diego, 41-53, 8.5 back. So, thank you very much, everybody, for listening to my show. Looks like I have no comments on the chat box. The question of the show was, is Derek Jeter an everyday shortstop? I talked about the injury that he suffered with his grade 1 quad strain yesterday. And a question that just popped up in my mind is Derek Jeter a real everyday shortstop now? And as he's getting older and as retirement just continues to loom closer and closer to his brain and to realization that this will be the case very shortly, should he be a DH more often? Should he not even play a lot? So, thank you very much, everybody. Like my page on Facebook. I'll do another show very shortly. And goodbye. Have a great rest of the weekend.